7 things every Oracle apps DBA or architect must know to build, manage and migrate EBS R12 on Oracle Cloud. Welcome to episode 9 of our weekly video series with me Atul Kumar from Team K20 Academy, where we help our customers and you in your journey to move to Oracle Cloud. So 7 things you must know when running eBusiness Suite R12 on cloud. The first thing you should begin with is eBusiness Suite R12 deployment options. You can deploy your Oracle eBusiness Suite on-premise as shown on left-hand side, the traditional way to deploy eBusiness Suite. You can also deploy it on public cloud, that's right-hand side. And third place to deploy is in your data center, but on Oracle's cloud infrastructure, also known as Cloud at Customer. So the extreme right, that's on public cloud, this is one of the most common deployment these days. While one in the middle, that's Cloud at Customer, is mainly for bigger customers where compliance is an issue and data is not allowed to leave customer premises. So the second thing you must know is eBusiness Suite R12 architecture on Oracle's Gen 2 Cloud as shown here in the diagram. But in order to understand this, first let's look at 3 cloud service models. First you have infrastructure as a service, then you have platform as a service, and then third you have software as a service, where eBusiness Suite deployment will be using first two, that's infrastructure as a service and platform as a service. Here database will typically be platform as a service, whereas compute or Linux machine that you create for application tier is typically infrastructure as a service. So if you're working on Oracle eBusiness Suite, you already know that eBusiness Suite has 3 tiers: database tier, application tier, and the client tier. Database tier is where your eBusiness Suite database reside, whereas application tier is where your web servers, OC4Js or WebLogic, forms and reports, and concurrent manager resides. And client tier is where end users access this application like their browsers or mobile devices. So for the eBusiness Suite database tier, you have 3 options. You can deploy those databases on compute, that's infrastructure as a service, or you can deploy them into platform as a service, and within platform as a service, you can either deploy them on a VM database or VMDB system, that's virtual machine database system, or Exadata cloud service. For eBusiness Suite application tier, that's always infrastructure as a service on compute. That's mandatory. So this is the logical architecture for deployment of eBusiness Suite on cloud. This is the technical architecture, and I'm going to cover this in a minute when I talk about 4th point that you must know. So the third thing you must understand is EBS Cloud Manager. This tool will help you to do all the management tasks like provisioning, cloning, integration, etc. with respect to eBusiness Suite on Oracle Cloud. Now this EBS Cloud Manager is available on Oracle's Cloud Marketplace that you need to download in your tenancy, and you can access this EBS Cloud Manager either using UI, that's like your browser, or REST APIs. You need to then integrate this EBS Cloud Manager with Identity Cloud Service or IDCS. Once that's done, you can then use it to provision multiple eBusiness Suite environment, and then later you can manage these environments with this Cloud Manager. Using this EBS Cloud Manager, you can do one-click provisioning that's used for simple deployment, or you can do more advanced provisioning like setting up multiple eBusiness Suite application tier or with DB system or Exadata cloud service. You can also use it to clone and manage eBusiness Suite environments. So this is the technical architecture of deploying eBusiness Suite on Oracle's Gen 2 Cloud OCI. So the 4th thing you must know is networking, and based on experience from my students who come to my training EBS on OCI, this is one of the most difficult topic for apps DBAs and architects. So you should know things like region, availability domain, virtual cloud network, different type of subnets like public and private, load balancers, and things like internet gateway and dynamic routing gateway. I've covered all this in past on our blog at k20academy.com/1z093215 and 1z093216. So make sure to check them out after this video. Fifth thing you must know is lift and shift or migration from on-premise to cloud. So this is where you will see a lot of work, where your existing customers are moving to cloud to reduce cost or leveraging the cloud features like Exadata Cloud Service or EBS Cloud Manager for one-click provisioning or for quick cloning. So what you do is you deploy a little migration tool on your existing eBusiness Suite on-premise. This tool will do the backup onto Oracle's object storage. Then EBS Cloud Manager will take this backup from object storage and provision this EBS environment on cloud from the backup that's being done by your migration utility. Sixth is about integration of eBusiness Suite on cloud with other systems. You need to consider how eBusiness Suite will talk to other systems like Identity Cloud Service or Oracle Access Manager or OID for authentication, or with SOA Suite either on-premise or SOA Cloud Service for integrated SOA gateway. You also need to consider how things like printers or mailer service with SMTP server for email notifications. So when you're designing eBusiness Suite on cloud, also think about third-party systems. Seventh and the final one is about setting up high availability and disaster recovery. Being on cloud doesn't mean that you automatically get high availability or disaster recovery. Instead, you need to design and set up your eBusiness Suite for high availability and disaster recovery. And this is where multiple availability domains, multiple compute instances, multiple load balancers, file storage service, data guard service in database, or rsync for replicating the file system across disaster recovery site comes into handy. I recently did a video on how to set up a highly available eBusiness Suite environment on OCI. So go and check it out on k20academy.com/1Z093217. So let's do a quick recap on these 7 things that every apps DBA or architect must do in order to build, manage and migrate eBusiness Suite R12 on cloud. So the first one is about deployment options. You have 3 options: eBusiness Suite on-premise, eBusiness Suite on public cloud, and eBusiness Suite cloud at customer. Point 2 is about eBusiness Suite architecture on cloud, where database can be on infrastructure as a service or platform as a service, and application tier will always be on compute. Then third is about EBS Cloud Manager. Cloud Manager is the utility for all your management tasks, including provisioning, cloning, and maintenance of your eBusiness Suite environments. Point 4 is about networking, covering region, availability domain, virtual cloud network, subnet, security list, load balancers. Sixth is about lift and shift or migration to cloud. And the 7th and final one is about integrations. Well, this was just an overview and a good starting point. I know a lot of you want to go deep into these topics or looking for more information. So I've created a free guide covering 7 things every apps DBA or cloud architect must know to get started with EBS R12 on Oracle's Gen 2 Cloud. In this guide, I've added all the related posts and video links, including more content related to these 7 things that I've covered here. Get your free copy by going to this URL k20academy.com/ebscloud01. When you go to this URL, you click on this button, enter your name, email address, and click on Mail Me This Guide. Within next 10-15 minutes, you will get a guide with more details about these 7 topics. So did you find this video helpful? Which point out of these 7 you need more help? Let me know in the comment below so I can add more content related to that topic. If you enjoyed this video, hit like button, share it with your colleagues, and don't forget to subscribe to our channel. I'll see you next week.